Hey everyone, Fee here. Great to be here with you for yet another webinar in our Reset series. And today we are going to look at stress, what goes on at a physiological level when we are stressed, and some health hacks to get you back on track. Our nervous system has pretty much two gears. One is our parasympathetic nervous system, and that's for calm, for repair, and for healing. But the other is our sympathetic nervous system, our fight and flight, our stress and cravings. And unfortunately, most of us are stuck in that survival mode of our sympathetic nervous system. And stress is a sign, a survival sign for our body that we are under stress, and so that we must slow down digestion, we must just constrict the blood flow. Everything must just hold tight while we are under this stress. And when we are feeling in constant stress, we don't have time for our body to relax. So creating a space for recovery is really important, and tapping into our parasympathetic nervous system. But we need to support those root causes. We really need to dig deep and figure out what is causing the stress and how can we overcome it. Because so when we're in that fight or flight, in that sympathetic nervous system, we're shutting down digestion, we're shutting down hormone balance, we're shutting down immunity, we're also shutting down our memory. But the parasympathetic mode will reverse all of that, and then the body will start to repair. So you can see from this image of all the places that are affected by an acute stress response. And we actually have something called a vagus nerve, and that is our switch. It's kind of like this wandering highway that connects many of our organs, our gut particularly. So sometimes we get that gut feeling, but also lungs and heart and our brain. And so when we are in that stress response, we really are compromised. Our health is compromised because nothing can process the way it should. And this increased cortisol is causing inflammation in our body, and of course sleep issues. When we're stressed, we don't get enough sleep. It makes us tired. We get brain fog and irritability, and really want to focus in on gut issues because that is a very big thing when we are stressed, particularly because we can't digest properly. And so sometimes we stress eat, but while we're in that stress mode, we're not digesting properly either. So it can lead over a period of time to feeling weight gain, bloated. Our body's just not functioning properly, and the inflammation is sticking around. So during this reset, we are focusing on some of these daily habits that can help us. We are talking about good nutrition. We're talking about moving daily. We're focusing on better sleep. And we have here in this group some amazing social connection and support. But how we can really tap into this through our breath is by mastering our out breath, mastering our exhale. Because when we breathe in, take a breath with me now. We breathe in, our heart rate actually speeds up. And so when we exhale, we can slow our heart rate down, because every time we have a slow exhale, it's actually tapping into our nervous system and telling us that we are doing okay. So it's all about the breath work, and breath work is a big thing in our communities. However, just really tapping into your own breath is really important. Another one that is called the physiological sigh, and it's something that I learnt from a video with Navy SEALs. So they use it, and it's to calm them down and make sure that they're not breathing too fast, because we want to really make sure that we are slowing the breath down. Think of a Navy SEAL. Sometimes they're under the water, so not to use a lot of oxygen, or for diving. Another option is to learn how to do this physiological sigh. So it's taking 2 really sharp inhales through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth. And this actually clears carbon dioxide, it restores oxygen, and it can calm the body in less than a minute if you do it consistently for that time. So that is something that you can think about when it comes to your breath. And chanting, sometimes if you're doing a meditation and you're doing a chant or a hum, when we have sound vibrations, that actually stimulates the vagal fibers in our chest and our throat. And just by humming or chanting for a couple of minutes every day before bed can really help you sink into a deeper sleep. Now, the other health hacks I spoke about earlier in the reset is cold water therapy. And I'm not talking about ice baths. I'm just talking about turning off the hot water in the shower at the end of your shower, or put your face under the cold water for about 20 seconds, because that also will lower the heart rate and put your body into that parasympathetic nervous system, so taking away that fight or flight. Grounding is another option that we have talked about within our community, barefoot on the grass or on the earth, in the sand, just really tapping into the rhythm of the earth, which is very important. And sunlight, particularly in the morning, because that will reset your circadian rhythm. That helps to regulate a lot of our hormones, also our melatonin in our skin. It just gives us that nervous system balance. So if we put that all together and we create a morning anchor, going outside, getting some sunlight on our face, having some cold water therapy after our shower, having a mindful meal, really tapping into the eating process, chewing, being mindful when we're eating, getting outside, doing that grounding, taking some nature in, hugging a tree, putting your feet in the sand or the water or the earth, wherever that works. And that evening wind down of breath work, of really looking at doing some humming and chanting before we go to bed. These are all very simple hacks that we can take on board for real life tools. Finally, our research support heroes, our supplements. We are all about eating well, living well, and supplementing well. So supplements can always bridge that gap, top us up a little bit. And I love my cacao at night as part of my wind down. Part of my morning ritual is making sure I've taken my capsules and having my protein or my shakes throughout the day. Illuminate instead of coffee, and that beautiful cacao in the evening. So thinking about the products that you have and how they're supporting your nervous system, how they're supporting you to be mindful about your rituals during the day, and knowing that you are supporting your health, not only with all those health hacks that you can take on board, being part of this reset, but also supporting your body with our supplement range. I hope that's helped, and I look forward to hearing your comments around the health hacks that you might take on in your home.